Good afternoon, everybody. This is going to be part one of a three-part series. We're going to talk about Addis, the Orderflow charting platform, how you guys can use them in your trading, how to get your charts set up, and then we're going to talk about some specific strategies and how we use the Addis platform. So starting off, if you guys don't know what Addis is, they are a very powerful order flow charting platform, mainly used for futures, but you can also use them for crypto and Forex and many other things as well. But if you guys watch my live stream, you guys see every single day that we use them for our futures trading. You guys can sign up with the first link in the description below, and at the end of the video, I will be giving you guys a promo code to actually get a discount on your subscription. Let's start off by discussing how to get the charts set up so you guys can have them looking a lot like mine, or you guys can customize it to have it look any way you want. But starting off with the Addis dashboard here, a couple things you want to do before you get started. Make sure you go into your settings and make sure you look at all the hotkeys. I like to turn off the hotkeys right away, but make sure you understand what the hotkeys do so you're not just clicking random buttons and accidentally buying things or selling things that you don't want to. So make sure to take a look at the hotkeys. Make sure to adjust your time zones. So I have a East Coast United States time zone. So I went ahead and adjusted these so that they match my current time zone. Another thing you want to do is you want to make sure you have your proper data connection. So make sure to go to Home here and then go to Connections. You can see that I have my Apex connection already sorted there. When you click on this little cog wheel, it will pull up something that looks like this. And that will have your login and your password for whatever connection you have selected. So I have my Rhythmic data server connected. If you guys are tying an Apex account into your Addis account, you want to select whatever server is best for you. I typically select the Chicago server. I do not have the aggregated quotes checked. I do not have the RTrader Pro checked either. So currently you guys are seeing a live Apex paid account, and that's where I'm getting the data feed from. You guys don't have to have an Apex account. You can have many other data feeds. Just go through the connections tab here, and they will have many different options to connect your data. So once you have your data connected, you should be able to get started with your charts, your DOMs, your smart tapes, and I'm going to cover how to get that sorted. So for these little charts, these things that just look like standard price charts, you want to go to the home dashboard and you want to select chart and then go ahead and select what you would like to start from. Now it's going to obviously start from their bare minimum, their basic stuff, and you're going to have to adjust the settings from there. If you want to have a DOM, you want to grab the smart DOM right here. If you want to have these tapes, you want to grab the smart tape right here. And there's a couple of other options here for many different things if you guys would like to have those set up on your workspace as well. So what I typically use is I typically use a couple of the normal charts. I have a couple of the smart tapes, and then I have the smart DOM here as well. So now that we have that all sorted, let's go ahead and talk about my specific settings that I like to use for my Addis charts. If you go ahead and right click any of your charts, go down to settings, this will pull up the basic settings for the platform. And you can just see here, I'll just scroll through them. I'm not going to go over every single setting. It would take forever to do that. But if you guys want to copy my settings, you can just pause the video and go through them here. Most of the settings that I have are pretty much the default settings. I don't change them too much. One thing that I did change is I added a little bit of an offset here. So the chart vertical offset, if you don't add an offset, it does get pretty close to the border of the chart. So I went ahead and added a small offset there. You can use 70, you can use 100, anything around there typically helps. For the most part, everything else is pretty much standard here. I didn't change a whole lot. I think I made the font a little bit bigger, and that's about it. So for a standard price chart, that is pretty much all you have to do. Just make sure the settings are to your preference. I don't like having the grid lines in the background. I like having it just a flat black background so I can see my indicators. If you guys would like to copy how I have my charts on stream, I'm going to go through my indicators right now so you guys can see kind of what we're working with. If you guys would like to add indicators to your chart, just go to the top. It's right to the left of that plus sign where the crosshair setting is. And here's the indicators button. So the current indicators that I have on my chart, you guys see every single morning. I have a couple of moving averages, couple of VWAPs. I have a bar timer. I have the stacked imbalances, which are those rectangles that go horizontally whenever you have the big changes in delta. Obviously, we're not going to talk about strategy stuff in this video. We're just going to talk about settings. If you guys don't know what any of these things do, make sure to watch part 2 and part 3 of this series. I will go into the strategies and in depth into the indicators. But here are all my indicators. If you guys would like to match my settings, these are the settings that I have for these indicators. And like I said, I'm not going to go through every single setting. If you guys would like to copy them, just go ahead and pause them on the video. A couple of EMAs that I like to use are the 8 and the 24 EMA. The 8 EMA are what I like to call the aggressive traders, and the 24 EMA would be kind of the passive pullback responsive traders. Once again, we'll talk about this in later videos. This is one setting, or one indicator, I should say, that you guys should always put on your charts. Even if you don't like having a bunch of indicators, you should have this bar timer. And what the bar timer does is it puts a timer on your chart for that candle. So if you're using a 1 minute candle, it will be a 1 minute timer, 5 minute timer, so on and so forth. I think every single chart should have that timer turned on. And then here are my block trade settings, if you guys would like to copy those. And that will give you a chart that looks pretty much identical to this right here. Now, a little trick for the indicators, if you guys are trying to copy my cumulative delta, I like to have a moving average, an EMA, on my cumulative delta. So how you do that is when you add an indicator here, let's go to that indicator, where is it? Right here. You want to go to source, and you want to make sure the source is whatever that indicator is that you're trying to add the moving average to. And then another thing you have to do is you have to make sure the panel right here is matching whatever panel that indicator is on. So if you look at my CVD here, my CVD panel is panel 1. That puts it at the bottom here. And then if I want to have that moving average on the same panel, it should be on panel 1. Okay. So this chart down here is just a complete copy of this chart here. So nothing really to go over on this one. This one in the middle, this is a footprint chart. So there are some special settings you have to do to get your chart to look like this. So let's go ahead and cover those. So going into my normal settings here, this would be for just the standard chart settings, if you guys want to match these. But for the footprint, you have to go into the cluster settings here. This is where you're going to find all of the footprint settings for whatever kind of footprint chart you guys would like to build. Now, having a chart that looks like this, we have to select delta on the content. So this is where all that footprint data is going to come from. We have delta selected, and then on the mode, I have positive and negative delta profile. That's what makes it look like that kind of laddered profile here. We have draw borders turned on. Color scheme, once again, we have it set to delta. There's many different settings for you guys to play around with here. It's mostly personal preference. Just kind of play around with it, see which one looks best for you. I have mine set to delta, and then here are my different settings for that delta. I want to have the candle borders on. So we have the candle borders on the footprint profile here. So on border type, we have candles selected. I have the border color by the direction of the candle. So green or green, obviously. And that is pretty much it. That is how you match my footprint chart here. For trading, I have all of my trading stuff hidden. But if you guys would like to have your trades pop up on your chart, then just make sure you have it set in your trading settings. Now, one thing to match this indicator down on the bottom, let's go to indicators here. This is called cluster statistic. If you guys would like to match it to how I have mine on stream, I have show delta checked, session delta, show volume, and session volume. And that is pretty much it. The other settings are just for the visuals. Okay, moving on to our smart tapes here. So for the smart tapes, I like to have a ES smart tape because that's what we like to trade. I'm typically trading ES. And then I like to have the oil tape down here. I thought about putting the NASDAQ tape down here, but because the NASDAQ tape is so similar to the ES tape, I like watching oil in the background, so I have an oil tape down here. If you guys would like to match your tape to mine, let's go ahead and cover the settings. These are the basic settings. I have my font size on 16, and then pretty much everything else is default. For the filters, this is what's going to be very important. If you guys would like to use a smart tape on your Addis, you want to find a filter that filters out all the junk, right? If you don't put a filter on your tape, it's going to be rocketing through your screen pretty much the entire time. It's just going to be going down very quickly. You're going to see every single order as it comes in. You don't really care about that stuff. You want to find a filter that filters out all those micro trades that are being taken by mostly bots, right? Just the very quick, high frequency trading bots. We want to knock out all that stuff. So the filter that I found that works for ES is 25. Now this is pretty much personal preference. You can put a smaller filter on it if you like to have a quicker tape. You can put a larger filter on it if you want to have the tape be even slower than that. But 25 is a very good in-between level. It filters out all those high-frequency trading bots, but you still get those decent-sized orders. And when anything's happening, like maybe a news announcement or a data announcement, the tape is still going to move very quickly. So that's the level that I like to have, is 25. And I have the cumulative ticks here checked. Okay, another big thing with the tape. Typically when you're tape reading, you want to have some kind of alert. You want to have some kind of coloring on that tape for the larger orders. So I have a couple of filters here. I have a 300 filter for kind of that standard block trade size, which colors it kind of purplish. And then I have that set to an alert, which actually plays a sound and it plays a little banner on the bottom right of my screen. The larger alert that I have is 1,000 contracts. So for you guys, if you want to set these alerts, you just click the filter mode. We have mine set to volume, and then you put in the minimum size for that alert. And then you just select that they highlight the row. If you want to turn on sound alerts, you just click that sound alert button right there. So we have a 300 alert and we have a 1,000 alert, and that's going to color it kind of bluish for those really big orders. And then another thing you want to do is you want to make sure you save these as templates. So if you want to go through and have the same tape multiple times, just go ahead and save it as a template and you can reload it from there. One more thing is on the level 2 orders. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. So for these level 2 orders, the orders that are breaking above the ask or below the bid, you want to have those colored so you can see them very easily. So it's called above the ask or below the bid right here. That will show you when those orders are coming in and they are breaking above the ask or below the bid. Once again, this is not a strategy video. We will talk about that in the later videos, but make sure you have that as a color that you can easily identify. Another thing is the indicator speed tape. This will be exactly what it's trying to show right here. Obviously, the tape is very slow because this is after hours. But if it was around the time where the market was trading normally, this would be highlighting yellow for all those newer orders that are coming in. So the brighter yellow are the newer orders, and then as it fades away, that yellow will also fade away. So I like yellow because it's very obvious to see. Now, how to have that pulled up on your tape, let's go ahead and cover that. If you right click here, you can see Show Column Chooser, and this will let you decide which columns are being shown on your smart tape. So I like to keep it very simple. I have the time on the left, I have the price, I have the volume of that transaction, and then I like to have the speed and the buy and sell pressure. So the speed is that yellow indicator that I was showing earlier. And the buy and sell pressure is this bar right here. It's kind of hard to see, but if you see this red and green bar, that is just giving you a buy and sell pressure meter for how those orders are coming in on the tape. So if the orders are flooding in very bullishly, that bar will be entirely green. If they're very bearish, it will be mostly red. But as we can see, there's a couple of orders coming in here. You can see it start to move, right? Once again, it's after hours, so we can't really show you how that looks live. If you guys watch my live streams, you can see how that plays out. But that's what I like to have. I have the speed, buy and sell pressure, the time, the price, and the volume. Keep it nice and simple. And then I have the same exact tape down here, just showing a different ticker. Okay, moving on to the DOM. This is my DOM here. So if I go ahead and right click the settings, I can show you my DOM settings. So my DOM has a couple of profiles. We have a profile on the left, we have a profile on the right, and then we just have this standard DOM in the middle. So these are the settings for my profile. So the first profile, we have the current day's volume profile, and then here are the basic settings. For the other profile, we have the current week's volume profile, and then here are the settings. And then everything else is pretty much standard. So the bid side is default, the price is pretty much default, and then the ask side is also default. And I don't believe I've changed any of these common settings, but just in case, I'll show you what they look like here. One setting you might want to play with is the auto center frequency. So auto center is like when you're looking at a DOM, if prices are moving rapidly, it's not going to keep centering your DOM right away. If you would like it to do that, you need to change the auto center frequency right here. And then finally, I have a volume profile and TPO chart down here. So if I go ahead and show you my settings for that one, once again, the visual settings are the same as I have on every other chart. These are just the chart settings. They don't really go into the levels for volume profile or the indicator levels or anything like that. It's just the standard price settings. So going on to cluster settings, this is where you get into the volume profile settings. So if you would like to set up a volume profile, it's right here at the top. Content, we have it set to volume. Mode, we have it set to volume profile. We have it checked for the borders. The color scheme is based on the volume proportion. And then if we go down to the bottom here, we start to get into the settings we're going to get into that in a second. But these settings should just be for the standard volume profile visual settings. For the actual bulk of the settings, we have to go into the actual indicator. So once we pull up an indicator here, it's going to look like this. So go into the indicators. If you want to look up a market profile, you can look up the market profile indicator there. And then this is where the bulk of those settings are going to be found. So for mode, we have it set to market profile and TPO because I like having the TPO letters and I also like having the volume profile next to it. I have it set to starting at 9:30 in the morning because this is a cash profile. It's ending at 1700, which is 5 p.m. And then all the other settings here, you guys can just match. Profile type is set to volume. That's very important. And then everything else is pretty much just personal preference. If you guys would like to match my settings that I have on stream, it is the ticks right here. So prices per row, we have it set to 8 ticks because we are trading ES. 4 ticks is 1 point. I like to have my TPOs as 2 points per TPO. So that would be set to 8 ticks. And then everything else is pretty much just personal preference color settings. Here are my color settings if you guys would like to match them. And that is pretty much it for my workspace. If you guys would like to copy my Addis workspace, we covered all the major settings you will need. One other thing, if you would like to have multiple charts, as you see at the bottom, or it's probably blocked by my stream, but there are multiple charts on this one screen. How you do that is when you are dragging around your charts, there's a little trick here. When you're moving your charts around your desktop, grab it by the logo up here. Be careful not to like double click or right click because it can close out of the chart. But if you just grab it by the logo, you can see I can move it around. So when you grab it by the logo, it makes it easy to move. And if you want to combine charts together, just grab one of the charts and move it over another chart. And that will let you combine them together. Okay. And that will let you click through the charts. As I'm doing like this, you can just go ahead and click through the charts on the bottom. I'll quickly cover this chart because we didn't cover this one. I'll go into the settings here. This one is pretty much standard, but if you would like to match how I have this chart here, it's a 30-minute chart, which by the way, if you want to change the time frame on your chart, it's right there on the top left. But here are the settings if you would like to copy this chart. So this chart is just a 30-minute candlestick chart with the volume profile on the inside, but the numbers are not for the volume profile. The numbers are actually for the delta. So we have the content, which are the numbers, set to delta, but the mode is set to volume profile. That's how we have the volume profile showing the bars, but the numbers themselves are showing the delta. So if you ever want to have them mix and matched, that's what you do at the top right here. Content will be the numbers, and then mode will be the visual. And then we have it set to volume proportion, and everything else is pretty much default. But okay, that's all my settings for Addis. If you guys would like to copy my charts as I show them on stream. If you guys are a Discord member, it's so much easier than going through and copying all my settings. I have my workspace uploaded in Discord. If you guys go to the Discord settings channel, you can find my workspace for Addis. Just go ahead and download that onto your Addis. You can go to the workspace section. It says import. Go ahead and import it there. And then it will just basically pull up my chart as you see here. There are a couple of indicators that don't like to copy the settings over. So make sure you go into the settings to the indicators and make sure they're copied. If it looks a little weird on your chart, just watch this video over again and then go through the settings and you should be good to go. One more setting to cover that I forgot to cover earlier are my VWAP settings. Let me show that really quickly, because these are a little bit special compared to my other indicators. So I have two VWAPs right now. I have a daily VWAP that is a custom VWAP, and then I have the full session VWAP that is this one right here. So the full session VWAP, if you want to have it start at 6 p.m. Eastern the previous day for futures trading, you want to have it set to daily. So have it set to daily, everything else is pretty much default. And then for the what I call the daily VWAP, the one that starts at 9:30 in the morning, you want to have that one set to custom, and then you want to have it checked right here for the custom starting point, and then set your hotkeys so you can set that starting point. My hotkey is A, so what I can do here is I can just pick a candle and press A, and it will set my VWAP on the chart. You can see it's moving my VWAP when I press that button. So I just make sure to set that at 9:30 every morning, and then I have two VWAPs going side to side. But all right, guys, now I think we finally covered every single setting that I have on Addis. If you guys would like to copy them, we are doing a big promotion with this Addis series. We're going to have this video come out today. We have another video coming out on Wednesday and another video coming out on Friday. The later videos will be talking about more of the strategy side, how I'm using these charts in my trading. I wanted to make sure you guys can mimic my charts or match my charts as much as you want to before we get into that strategy stuff later this week. If you guys would like to sign up to Addis, we have a special promotion going on right now. Use code DejaBrew5 to get a discount on your Addis license. If you guys would like to try them out for free before you sign up, send me an email at admin@oasistrading.io. Let me know what your email is that you're signing up for Addis, and I can get you a 30-day free trial. But yeah, if you guys would like to sign up, use DejaBrew5, and that will get you a discount on Addis. Or my members for Discord. If you guys would like to join the Discord, we are doing a massive promotion. One of the biggest promotions that we've done is using code ATAS, ATAS, all one word, 40% off anything on our website, including our Discord, and that is a recurring discount. It's one of the largest recurring discounts we have ever done. So if you guys would like to sign up for our membership, use code ADDIS on our website. And our website is obviously oasistrading.io. But all right, guys, I appreciate you guys being here. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys for part 2 on Wednesday. Peace, everybody.